artificial intelligence on how to reveal me a glimpse of the glitch of the simulation. Wouldn't that be a real trip? Oh, let's take it together to find out how we can manipulate the script for just long enough for it to cause a chain reaction, no type of effect on the code to cause a reboot to awaken them from the safe mode.
Anyways, welcome to the UnFuckIt Discussion. As usual, we're already in. Probably have to make sure the whole bit about us telling that guy who sits in the White House to fuck off and die, we'll probably have to take that out of the YouTube video. Just saying. Yeah, no, I have been completely offline for a week, like not looking at any news, not looking at anything. I have been gardening like a mad woman, and I'm going to pay for the 4 hours I put into the garden today. I'll tell you that tomorrow. I guarantee I'm going to pay for it. I'm not so young anymore. It's like my clipper fingers are just not so young anymore, Ben. Like I literally, I'm like, oh, how 4 hours of working clippers was perhaps a little too much. No, I haven't started canning yet, Deb. I haven't, although I did pull out jars and get jars all prepped and ready to go, but no, I haven't actually started canning yet. Not yet. Soon, but not yet. So, crazy energetics this week. I'm going to jump right into the woo-woo side of things because it's, again, according to all the charts, it's not the sun that's doing it. According to the measuring sticks we have access to, it's been quiet on that front. Like no major solar flares, no major geomagnetic storms, but something crazy's been going on because I'm talking to people again and getting these broad spectrum problems that people are having. And it's been the thing like for a week, on and off for a week. Stomach doesn't feel right, just not settled. It's like you're not nauseated, but your stomach just doesn't feel right. I've talked to, I don't know, 20 people this week who've talked about that feeling, exhaustion, being like tired, having like woozy moments where you're just like, ooh, feeling a little on the dizzy side. In the last 3 days, headaches, and body aches, like headache, body aches. You know what I mean? Like your body's just sore and stiff. And same thing, like when it's, I always say, when it's, if you see it all happen in a group of people who all live close by, you can kind of say, okay, it's maybe it's a slight flu bug that's going around, or maybe it's some weird, you know, with the nefarious, like there's like, I don't know, some weird frequency shit going on. But when you have people all over the world, like I'm talking to a friend in Australia who's feeling this way, Canada, in the States, oh, and digestive issues, i.e., intestinal issues, have been for a lot of folks for the last 2-3 weeks. And we talked about this, Christy, like what, last week did we bring this up? And I've said, it's the same thing though. When I see a whole bunch of people having certain issues and it all happens simultaneously, it doesn't feel viral to me. It doesn't feel, because it's just too weird. It's just too coincidental that all these things happen all at once to people and scattered all over the place in different areas. So I don't know how. Go ahead, Chris.
Sadia this morning said to me, Mom, I didn't think there was milk in sourdough bread. I said, there isn't milk in sourdough bread. And she can't drink a glass of milk.
Yeah.
She said, yesterday my stomach was horrible, like I drank a glass of milk, and all I had was a piece of the sourdough bread. And it was from a good local bakery, so it was
So
real
good. Yeah.
sourdough bread.
Proper. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. Like, we're talking with Dawn. Dawn's not here tonight for some reason. I was talking to Dawn yesterday, and because of course she's had just a horrific time for the last 2 weeks with her guts, etc. And of course, my bit earlier on in the month, at the beginning of the month, with my lovely trip to the hospital, etc. I've now heard of like just a shit ton. Pardon the pun. Don't mean to make puns like that. Like a ton of people who are having umpteen different, all intestinal, whether it's like extreme gas, constipation, diarrhea, stomach cramps. Sorry, we're just gonna be really gross, right? Everyone, just you don't like these discussions, just skip over 5 minutes from now. Like just upset stomach. Not and when you feel like you can almost feel your food is not digesting properly, you eat things and it just sits in like your stomach like a lead weight, and you sitting there going like it was 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago, and I can still feel my dinner sitting there doing
Just
nothing, just sitting there.
heavy.
Heavy,
Yeah.
exactly, and just not right. So I don't know. I've been talking to a lot of people, and of course the emotional as well. Yes, yes. Many people have been going through like the rage outs, quick to anger, depression, anxiety. A lot of people have been talking about how bad their anxiety has been for the last week, for no triggers. Like I said, like I've talked to lots of people who, my own kids. When you say, okay, so what's going on, and when you go through all the trigger, what normal type triggers, you're like, there's no trigger for the anxiety. Like there's no event that's happened. Someone hasn't said something. There hasn't been something terrible happen. They haven't watched something bad in a movie or something. No, just I don't know.
How much of this
Wait,
might
hold,
be
hold, hold
having?
give me a second, Christy. Just give me
Okay,
a second.
I'm sorry.
Gorf, your neighbor called by law enforcement on you for feeding the birds?
Yeah, I don't think she's losing it. Yeah, she called like today. The bylaw enforcement officer called back, and he got to deal with Panda on the phone. She even dropped a C-bomb on him, so it was pretty funny. But yeah, there's absolutely nothing they can do. But he's like, "Oh, just don't feed them," and it's like,
Well,
"No, fuck
I
you,
will
buddy.
feed them.
I'll feed the birds if I fucking feel like it."
Like, I'm sorry, like what feeding the birds is somehow illegal now? Like,
Could be in Canada.
yeah.
Oh, it's not. We took like a went through the bylaw book with a fine-tooth comb. So
So like people are really losing the shit. Like people losing what? I literally. So our trip when we go to Burntwood and we go to the garden, it's about a 35-minute drive, 35 minutes, and driving out and then driving back. I know we were about halfway back, and I just turned to Nick out of the blue, and it was just like, I have decided that the IQ of the planet has dropped significantly. Like significantly. Not just by a little bit, but I honestly think that if you were to bring a bunch of people from like the 50s and have them test everyone's IQ on the planet now, they would label this entire generation retarded. Like that level of stupid. And I mean just literally you walk around, some chick walking across the road, watching her phone, walking across the road, not paying one of the busiest intersection in Walsall. And she's just like, and then she looks up and then realizes she's walking on a red light. And she just kind of looks up and goes, oh, and then just puts her phone back to her phone and keeps walking across the road. I'm just like, I'm done. Like everywhere I go, it feels like people have, well, number one, lost the ability of rational thought completely and utterly. They have no concept of being able to think rationally. To be able to logic, they can't logic. They don't know how to logic anymore. Like I made a comment to Andy's wife Tracy today. I said they can't logic their way out of wet paper bag. Like literally, they couldn't. No logic, no ability to rational think, to be able to look at something and go, okay, if there's A and there's B, then that must mean C. It gets gone. And I'm not, when I made the joke, we're saying like an entire generation, I don't mean the young people either. It's like kind of this broad spectrum paintbrush has just been like, look, I'm going to just take 40 of your IQ points. Gone. There you go. Now you're stupid. And I don't mean to sound like, I know that sounds really, really negative, etc., but it's appalling. I just nonstop.
You
What
know,
would you do that for? Like, why?
I
This is what I'm
tried.
saying. Like, okay, I get it. Okay, there's this whole. We have watched TikTok ruin an entire fucking generation. First of all, shortening the attention spans down to what, the 30 seconds? Like basically you've got to have it in 30 seconds or it's just like it's too long, it's too much, etc. So we have that. But you have this social media thing of like just doing stupid fucking shit for the clicks. Like, right, for the likes, for the clicks, right? Because I'm going to make myself, I'm going to become rich because I'm going to make ridiculous videos. But there's no rational thought about the fallout. There's no taking responsibility for their actions, number one, and taking responsibility for how their actions are perceived by others. There is no, right? Digitally induced ADHD. Yes, Jimmy. Digitally induced ADHD. That's what TikTok is. Well said. I really don't like people very much anymore. I've kind of come to the conclusion that for the most part,
They're twats.
yeah. Is anyone else, because we've got a nice spread across the world here right now in our group, is anyone else hearing the rumblings of lockdowns coming again? Besides what we talk about, external from Unfuckers, is anyone like getting the little
Hints.
rumblings?
Yeah, it's coming over Twitter big time. For instance,
Okay, so now I know about Twitter. Ann and I were talking about that.
Apparently, some
yesterday.
states have already implemented mask wearing again in like hospitals and stuff like that.
some of the colleges have too in the United States.
AM radio is
masks.
talking about it in the morning.
Really?
Yeah.
I've already
How they're not going to do it.
I've already
People are
started
outraged.
memes about British people dressing like clowns queuing up again for another booster.
Oh, there's lots of videos of them going around taking out the ULEV cameras. You know, these 15-minute cities are all going and they're all getting applauded.
Nice. Well, I'm like, so there's what Anne was talking about, the fact that she saw a post and it was a Twitter, and I don't remember what it was, basically talking about such and such, insert official sounding name here, said there was a leak from such and such office, something like that, saying that there are going to be lockdowns starting again in mandates in middle of September.
Yeah.
Right? Middle of September. And then Anne was saying, like, below it could, obviously you get the people who are like going like, fuck no, not going to happen. But you had all these people who are posting and being like, oh my God, they're saying it's like a new disease. When are we getting our new vaccine? Oh my God, I've already got my mask and my rubber gloves on. And it's like, but you know they're trolls. Like, when you see those responses, those are the paid trolls. Those are the paid trolls. And it's like, so I was saying to Nick, we're talking about this in the car coming back from Burntwood. We know the British military has their own cyber intelligence, which is just AKA the Troll Brigade. America, Canada, France, Germany, they all have a sizable force that is people who are trolls. They're online trolls. Their job is to go online and tweet things to push the narrative or respond to tweets to either downplay the conspiracy theories or to pump up what is the current narrative. And I said, but I wonder how much, because if you know the government, the military doing it, you know the corporations are doing it too. So how many people does Pfizer have out there paid to go out on Twitter and be like, oh yeah, I just got my 5th booster, and look at me, and like pictures of the little band-aid going, oh 5, I've had 5, oh look at me, be so proud, I have had 5, to try and represent a sense of normalcy, to normalize this fucking shit.
Step is the right one. Not too sharp, I got anything left. Look for it at the right time, but it doesn't seem to come. Or do I get distracted